Cheers, greetings. Rocco and John here to break down these markets. Did not have an update yesterday. We'll get you all caught up here, okay? S&P is down about 20 bips today, a digestion day. The VIX was down about 3-4%. We'll look at what's going on. Let me share a screen and show you what headlines, what really moved the markets today. It's kind of surprising to me that emerging markets are not getting more discussion. To me, that is what is moving the markets each day. Today, for example, so what happened was Taiwan and Europe led emerging markets lower. That is what happened. The dollar is having big, not huge moves, but it is moving to the upside. And yet the story each day really outside multiple standard deviation moves, more than bonds, more than tech, more than the things that you're hearing about. It's emerging markets. It's Taiwan many times, it's Hong Kong, and Europe more and more. So we'll look at the moves, see what's trading, trend or counter trend, but let's look quickly. I already talked about that in terms of Taiwan, EFA, which is the Europe ETF, United Kingdom, Australia, Hong Kong, all getting slammed today by at least 1%. Some as heavy as 2.25%, like in the issuance of Taiwan. And still really nothing winning here from the long side over the past week. The only thing that's been working has been long volatility and long gold. That's literally it, unless you've been an amazing stock picker. And then some really, I had some frustration today. I had these notes on my pad, short this here, do this then. And a lot of them performed had I entered. I did not enter as much trades as I want. But we'll look at the losers. There's no shortage of winning shorts here. Biotechs, solar, ARC, Bitcoin, nat gas, really, I don't want to say plummeting, but they're down a lot in the past week. So let's take a look. Let me share screen. Let's talk about some of the misery that is trading. I'm upset because I missed some of these setups, so it frustrates me, of course. Specifically the nat gas, I didn't get the setup I wanted, but let's go first. So really fast in terms of SPY, I always like using stochastic momentum mix. To me, it's a very good momentum oscillator. You're right where you were in the middle of August. There's a different setup though. We are entering earnings season. Then earnings season was right in the rear view. The meaningful companies had just stopped. So the setup was kind of like cup half empty in terms of, okay, now what? Here we are looking forward to something. So I like the setup here more. You've technically corrected just as we kind of called it in a way, 2 weeks or so. Now it's getting a little bit longer. You're looking at a 19-day correction in terms of calendar days. You close now below the lower Bollinger Band. Not a great symbol because he did it 2 days in a row. So definitely momentum is on the sell side. We are now far away from the 50 RSI. You're at a 38. Very similar conditions to what you had in August. The good and bad news is, so what happened in August was you went lower for another day or two, and then a nice rally, and then everything gave back for the next 2 months. Like I said, the setup is different here as we're entering earnings. So that's where we are for the market. I don't want to sound, like a predictor or something, but I just am a big believer in mean reversion. I just think that SPY goes to right around 514. 513, which would be a nice 2% pop. And I'm just getting a little bit of signals that that's possible. I think the next earnings are big earnings. There's every day. So we'll see if something like that can provide a broad market catalyst. Oil back to 85. We'll see. But I don't know what happens after, but I think SPY should mean revert to around 513, 514, a nice 10-point move. And then we'll see what happens there. Maybe bases. Maybe new all-time highs are on the way. Maybe we go into this trough period for an extended 2 months, similar to what we did from August to October. Not really sure. And the 10 years at 4.7, freaking people out a bit. So we'll see. But in terms of technically speaking, yeah, it gave way a little bit much. You probably didn't want to see it break too much lower than in my videos. I was saying right around 517, give or take $7. So we are beneath that. Like I said, I believe in mean reversion. I don't think we should go extremely a lot lower. It's possible, but let's go look at areas now. All right, so let me look at potential setups. Excuse me. All right, so Taiwan in the news every day, or at least in my news every day in terms of the charts. So this thing, a big fall here. This is a multiple standard deviation move for Taiwan, down 2.2%. Super volatile. This thing on the 9th was trading rounding $50, and now it's 46.5. That's a big move for a country ETF. This has been, just not doing well in terms of setups. I think it's at support here. This 46.5 line. I like this. That's a 200-day moving average. It's exactly like my eyeballs called it, 46.5. I think this could revert to 48.5, but again, you need a kind of a global participation here. Emerging markets has been getting absolutely slammed. You name the country, been absolutely slammed. So I'm not going to trade on this. Like I said, I did have a bunch of notes to buy an insurer, sell that gas. Missed that one as it sunk to 52-week lows today. Frustrating. Sorry, Rocco, I scared him. Dog's super hearing, and he's a little scaredy cat dog. Buy home construction or home builders, wanted to do that on the sidelines. That's still going lower, though, so I think I might get a better entry. Buy Japan, buy communications, buy Pave. This is all on the waiting list. I have a feeling once I get a green light for one, I'll get it for all, but I didn't act on anything today. Taiwan is not going to be the first. No siree. Another one. So that was a big move down today, the biggest mover down in terms of multiple sigmas. And then second largest mover. So this is the EFA value. It basically correlates with Europe. Down 1.5% today. That is a big move. This thing hit new 52-week highs last week. So this is a superstar story. Something I would like to participate in. It is breaking support here. My understanding for this one is, is the lower Bollinger Band. It is definitely extended. I mean, if you look at it, I just like to take away, 3-month lows, for example. And it takes us to January around here. Let's go a little bit lower. You've seen a couple of these emerging market types. I know Europe is, developed and such, but these can slip a little bit further. I'm saying you're seeing some go to that 200-day moving average as a flat line. It's almost like a magnet. So I wouldn't be shocked if this goes a little bit lower, but I do want to participate in this. I don't think the top is in 7 days ago, and then that was the top, and now we're going lower. I don't think that's the case. This has a little bit more room to fall. It's not even oversold. It's looked worse in October. But yeah, this is a story I would like to participate in, add it to the list, but I'm not going to participate today. But Europe getting absolutely shellacked today. When you look at under the hood, the UK, another constituent, all these markets getting hit. Again, the dollar, not a huge move today. My other data provider I'm just seeing here is giving an oversold buy signal trigger for EWU today after this big 1.2% move. Again, not common for it to close outside its lower Bollinger Band. In fact, last time it did it is January 17th. Didn't even do it here when it made the lows for the year. It did it here twice, meaning 2 times total. 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're looking at something that's happened 6 occurrences in the past year. After October, after Halloween, they've resolved higher. So we'll see. This is kind of like a battleship. This is a tough 200-day moving average. I think it could be also magnetized to that. We'll see. But, the UK hit 52-week highs literally 12 days ago. So I don't think the story is over, but I'm not going to participate in this now. Another story, globally speaking, Australia hit hard today, down 2%. So you can construct any narrative you want, but these are the names today and this week, to be honest, that is getting absolutely hit. This hit a top a little bit earlier. This was kind of peaking with our tech group for what it's worth. Not that they're correlated, but I'm just noticing the date, March 8th. And that was at $25. So, quite a fall from 25 to 23. Again, you're noticing something. All these nations closing outside the lower Bollinger Band. I don't think the story is over. I think if you wanted to fight your domestic bias and invest in some of these companies, I think it's not a bad idea. Maybe you're early on it, but especially if you get a lot of these at the 200-day and it's just flatlining here. So in this instance, 22.84, which is 40 cents away or about just a hair under 2%. It could definitely do that to get there, and then before it resumes, I think an uptrend. And then another one, EWH, Hong Kong, another loser. This has hit new 52-week lows today. So this has just been an absolute loser. This chart looks like the VIX almost, and you don't want to get long VIX really, except for a very short time frame. as is the same here in Hong Kong, maybe just for a trade, but down another 1.9%. Just tough. This is now officially oversold. Something it doesn't do that often. It does it for about a quick flash. So it does it today. It did it January 17th, and then it did it here for a while, about a week or so back in August. So this looks like crapola. I'm not going to play. If you got a move to 15.5, I would like to short it down to where we currently are, but it doesn't seem like it's going that way. So these were the big down movers today. Taiwan, pick a country in Europe, the UK, Australia, Hong Kong, all shellacked. And then just if you want to look at a broad measure, EEM, which did it as on its own have a outside standard deviation move today, down 1.3%. But here it is also closing outside its lower Bollinger Band, something it's only done, I'll count today, 1, 2, 3. It's happened 4 times. Right there's a fourth. 4 times in the past year. So not a fan. The chart is not terrible. I mean, right here again, you're seeing these names be magnetized to their 200-day moving averages, which is longer term support. You don't want to see that break. Here it's 39.43, 30 cents away, a little less than 1%. Bend but don't break. I would be a better buyer of this than seller. I think I might even collect or like this over the basket, or I prefer this basket over, say, a specific country like the EWU, but you really have to look at the setup when it comes. So as of right now today, I'm not operating to get in any of these securities, any of these ETFs as of right now. But I just want to show the focus on emerging markets. Definitely a concern. Whatever, like I said, your narrative is inflation, we're going to leave these countries out in the dust, they can't export their way, whatever it is, too high savings rate, whatever. These countries are having a difficult time here. Not terrible falls from grace in terms of the big picture, still up in many instances in past 52 weeks, but they are on the forefront. That's what I've been seeing every day. VXX, the ugliest chart to show. So this is one of the only 2 things in the ETF world that is up for the past week. I usually put a top in that notepad list, usually put top 5 gainers of past 5 days. I can only find 2 gainers of the past 5 days. And usually when that happens, we are, don't want to say in a bear market, but you definitely want to say the positioning is going the other way. And there's definitely more foot to the gas on shorting and on downside than upside. VXX is up 11.5% in the past 5 days. That's an average of 2% per day. You see today is down 3.5%. I think we are, I said it last time, I like to see this hit its head at 1530. That's its upper Bollinger Band. It hit it today and then some, actually got to 1560. And then we closed lower, down 3% on this consolidation, this digestion day of volatility. We'll be looking for this to mean revert and start to turn its head lower. I think this is headed towards 1390, which is the 21-day exponential moving average. And this just seems like it's getting a little bit hot. In fact, volatility hits, not overbought, but we did hit 68 in the RSI. That has not happened all year. So you want to be careful of that. It seems like it could be a trend change. Maybe people are saying flipping off the buy the dip mentality and starting to get a little bit more, scared that the Fed might not cut at all this year, not even after Thanksgiving, or maybe, oh my gosh, maybe they might hike, but I don't think so. But these are things that the market didn't price in before. And of course, known unknowns is or unknown knowns and so on and so forth is something that the market has to recalibrate to and adjust to. And you could argue that that's what's happening. But anyways, VXX, a big gainer of the past week. And the only other gainer of the past week, you're either long volatility and you're making money, or you're long gold and you're making money. That's it. There's nothing else that's up this past week. GLD, I know a lot of people are waiting for entries. I think that top on the 12 hopefully was meaningful. That 225, we're down 2% from there. We got to work off some of this overbought. This has been just crazy rush to buying since March 4th. It's crazy, but it's been 6 weeks of this since what was the close on March 4th? The close was 196. So here we are at 221, $25 higher, 10%. Again, I'm not willing to participate on this until it gets to about 210. So as I say, too rich for my blood. I'm not going to chase this here. But this is the only long in the market. If you think about it, because volatility is, in and of itself a different asset class. Volatility is up and gold is up. That's it. Now look to the losers. But yeah, just quickly, gold looks great. I got to give this like 2 weeks, see if it gets to 210. Maybe stocks have an inflow and then folks dump gold, and that could be your entry if you believe in the story. And now for the losers. This is really a thorn in my side. I had in my notepad short ARKG on a specific date, just looking at different path dependencies and looking at working off when it was having a hard time recovering its 50 RSI. And here it is, a really ugly fall today, down 3%. The biggest loser in the past week. So no matter what you're looking at, the biggest loser in the past week, the best short, down 14% in the past 5 days, ARKG. So just a tremendous, and here you go, 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. I mean, it's just extraordinary. This was at $26, 27 if you got the high print, down to 24 today. So with the rate story, when a move in the 10-year goes from 4.5 to 4.7, these long duration companies that have trials that fail and so on and so forth, and they don't have enough money to keep on staff and for the patents pending, it really affects biotech companies like this. So the lower target for me on this all along for the short was 25. So I would have ideally done it right here, 28, and got done here at 24. Problem was I thought the S&P was getting ready to shake out its downside and start to resume higher, but it's extending that bearish bias. So missed this one. That was the trade here. I don't love it much lower than where it is. To be honest, I think it's a little bit, that's just data. We are oversold, but as you can tell, when we were having a rate scare before, from September 20th to November 1st, this thing was oversold. So don't tell biotech's oversold and they time it. This thing could bleed out for a month and a half. But it looked overextended here. I don't love shorting it below 25. So I'm not going to act. Another one I had on my pad, I feel like an idiot because I didn't act, said short solar. This thing's headed towards new 52-week lows. What'd it do today? New 52-week low. Nothing worse than being right on the market and then not making any money off it. So that just is a kick in the balls and then some. New 52-week lows. What can I say? My setup for this was about like 2 weeks, about 10 days ago. So around like the 6 or so. Yeah, I love that right around here. Anywhere here around that mean reversion 44. Now it's trading 40. You collect 10 points on this, even though it's a higher vol asset. This just looks ugly. When you see Tesla break under 170 and so forth, I think it's like a 158 or something. I don't know. The whole group is not going to do well. And you see things like, not specifically solar, but Neo, Rivian, these guys are hitting 52-week lows. Definite big questions on their, solvency and their go forward plan. Tesla, you saw laying off 10% of their workers. Elon saying they have to do it. So this looks ugly. It's a little extended. I don't like it here. I think you might get, I don't know if rates come off, you can get a mean reversion here to like about 43, but I'd be a better seller of this, but missed it. So that stinks. ARK, I highlight this because it's the third biggest loser in the market, and it is different from ARKG. ARKG is the genomics. You can almost track that in a way to XBI and IBB, which are the biotech ETFs. One's market weighted, one's equal. This ARK is definitely tied to Bitcoin, Tesla, and so on and so forth. It is the third biggest loser in the market, down 10% over the past week, average 2 per day, and today down 1.6. So pretty much in line with that average. To me, oversold. This has or had decent support right around that 47, 48 region. That looks like it's Bafuera, as they say, as my wife says, Bafuera. Bye-bye. Still a slowly rising 200-day and now starting to give way. This is really, it's like a tug of war. It reminds me of that scene in Squid Game. This 50, the tug of war going back and forth. Here, overbought superstar, during the holidays, November, December. What happened? Literally Christmas week, $55 this thing printed, and then it's been looking down ever since. In terms of a trade, I would need to see some appetite for speculation in the market to be a buyer of this, but I'm not going to operate on this. I like to short ARKG. I don't like that medical area subsector. This is, I wanted to do actually a pairs trade, long XBI, short ARKG. The timing didn't work out for me. So instead, I lost money on XBI and I didn't do anything on ARKG. So life as a trader, sometimes it's absolutely miserable. Fourth biggest short in the market, Bitcoin, in that one too for a long. Again, when you have so much positioning, everyone one side of the boat saying it's going to X, you got to be careful. And these are things that were happening with S&P and Bitcoin. People got really too bullish, exuberant. Bitcoin topped on March 13th. We are now 4 weeks past those really, 75-ish K in Bitcoin. All that being said, excuse me, I had pasta for lunch. I got to stop eating before these videos. Stop having late lunches. Have normal lunchtime, John. Anyway, I still like Bitcoin, obviously. When something has an all-time high 4 weeks ago, I can't hate on it. Not oversold. This barely just gave up the 50 in RSI. You could have an uglier sell-off like you did in January in terms of RSI. I've been liking this for a setup for a while, so I know I sound like a broken record. In terms of Bitto, yeah, if you could buy it with 26 around here, I still like it. Maybe damp down your expectation on that 34 target. That's a monster return. If you go from 27 to 34, what is that? 7 into 27. That's like a 25% return. So I don't know if you can get every penny out of that trade. Still like it though. I think Bitcoin could be an inflection point, possibly a basis here, specifically through this Bitto ETF. Where are the last overbought buyers? So last time we were overbought was right here. VWAP that day was 33.5. We're definitely below that. So it doesn't always hold. I mean, the overbought buyers were there at the 52-week high, or the all-time high. So I don't think this one breaks, but your other support is all the way back here at 20. So that would be a ridiculous move lower, but it's Bitcoin. So throw, all your proverbs to the wind on that. And then nat gas, this one stinks. I was ready to pounce on this and short it last Friday. Should have just plugged your nose and sell. Don't penny pinch for the entry. That's what screwed me on here. I'll make this chart a little bit tighter so you can see. I always do a 1 year when I do these clips, but here I did 3 months just so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I wanted to do it last week, right? Would have been great. It was trading 16. My target was, I'll just pull it up right here. I have it on the other chart. So straight up, I wanted to enter at 15 quarter and short it down to 13.75 was my goal. So today we hit a low of 13.87, so pretty close. And you would have had that 15 quarter. It was there on the 11th. It was there just 5 days ago. So for me on this, I know it closed up, it reversed, and we're actually up 2.4% today. I think it ultimately, I don't think it's going to work out. I was going to say I'll take a look tomorrow, but I need this to get all the way back to 15 quarter. I know I just spoke about penny pinching and such, but I can't do it if my target's 13.80 and it's trading 14.5. That's not good enough. But nat gas, the fifth biggest loser in the market this past week. Okay, so I just want to pull up the screen and do this all together. Painful. Let me see this. I just want to this in final. So there you go. Best 3 absolute trades of the week. Short ARKG, just absolutely cratered. You have 14% in the past week. If you shorted that, you're a killer. Nice job. Short TAN. Sometimes it's best to just plug your nose and buy. Don't. It's tough. There's always that balance of wait for the opportunity to come to you. Let the market set it up. But short TAN, 52-week low. I was calling for it. It happened, but don't have a position, unfortunately. Down 13% in the past week, TAN. So these are big double-digit losers, even for higher vol instruments. And then the third best trade of the week is long volatility. So definitely it's just been shorting out there and vol expansion. And again, a recurring focus on emerging markets with Hong Kong hitting a 52-week low. All right, so we will see you tomorrow. Gotta wake somebody up. Wave to them.